Hey guys, I'm Emiline, aka Winter Star Cosplay, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you all about how to open and how to successfully run a digital product-focused Etsy shop. I have been running my own mostly digital product Etsy shop for well over a year now, and I recently opened a second Etsy shop, so I consider myself to be at least decently experienced when it comes to running Etsy shops. In this video, I'm going to cover a couple different things. First off, we're going to talk about why you might want to open this type of shop, how to open this type of shop, and different lessons that I have learned while running my own, as well as a couple other tips and tricks to help get you started. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. To start off, why might you want to open this type of Etsy shop with mainly digital products? Why not just a normal Etsy shop? Well, there are a couple different reasons. The first reason is that some things just work better as digital products. Things like digital patterns or 3D printable files or ebooks or printable worksheets. These types of things don't always work well as physical products. I mean, how are you going to send a 3D printable file to somebody in the mail? It's not really something that can work, and ebooks are called ebooks for a reason. They're digital products. So there are definitely a lot of things that work a lot better as digital products, so that is the first reason. Another reason for opening up a digital product Etsy shop is that the startup costs are incredibly low. They are so much lower than if you had to actually go out and make things and get a physical inventory and worry about shipping costs and packaging. With a digital Etsy shop, you don't have to worry about any of that. For a digital Etsy shop, you don't have to worry about packaging things up or them getting damaged or lost in the mail. You don't have to worry about shipping costs or international shipping or any of that. For a digital Etsy shop, everything is a lot cheaper and it's a lot more straightforward in my opinion. All that you really need to open up a digital Etsy shop is a way to get on the internet to access Etsy, a way to make your digital products and save them as PDFs, and then a way to upload them to Etsy. It's really easy. You don't need an inventory, you don't need a ton of room, a ton of startup costs, shipping materials, none of that. It's really easy and really straightforward. So now that I've covered some of why you might want to open a digital Etsy shop, let's get into actually how to open one up. First off, you'll need to open an account with Etsy. You'll start by scrolling down to the bottom of the page and clicking Sell with Etsy or something along those lines. From there, you can open your actual account by entering your first name, your email, and creating a password. Once you've done all of that and you have your account open, you can move on to actually opening your shop. Scroll down on the homepage on Etsy once you're logged in to the Open Your Etsy Shop tab, and then click on that. You'll be taken to the first step in opening your shop, which is Shop Preferences. Here is where you'll specify what language you want your shop to be in, what country you're in, and what currency you want to get paid in, as well as a couple other smaller things. All of this helps Etsy figure out your preferences and save them for the future. And once you've filled in all of that, you can click Save and then Continue. Next, you'll need to name your shop. It has to be unique to Etsy and can only include letters and numbers, no spaces or special characters. My actual shop name is Winter Star Cosplay, and I run another shop called Nerdy Creative Shop where I sell stickers and that sort of thing. Though for this, it doesn't really matter what name I put in since it's just for an example. Pick a name that reflects well what you're going to be selling and a little bit about you. Alright, so once you have picked a name for your shop and you've verified that it's completely unique on Etsy, the next thing to do is to stock your shop and add your listings. To actually open your Etsy shop, you need at least one listing, though Etsy does encourage you to add as many as possible. Each listing in your store is essentially a different item that you will be selling, and in this case, they are all digital. So for this next bit, let's start at the top of the page and go down. For the first part, for listing photos, it's a lot easier if it's a physical product and all you have to do is take a few pictures of it. For my digital products and patterns, I usually have a zoomed in image of the pattern itself with a bit of explanatory text over the top. For my ebooks, I'll usually have the cover of the ebook as the main image along with a few additional pictures of the contents inside the ebook. The next thing you need to do is add a title. The title should clearly express what it is you are selling. I almost always add in the title itself that the item is digital so that people have no false expectations. Underneath the title, you will then need to add a little bit more info about the listing itself, who made it, what it is, and when you made it. Next, you would decide on a category for your digital product to go in. If it is some kind of craft, it will also have you select some different options for what type of craft it might be. You can also choose an occasion or holiday if it's applicable to your item. Here is where the big difference between physical items and digital items comes into play. Instead of clicking in the physical bubble, you will click in the digital bubble. This gives you a place to upload the digital file and gets rid of the places where you'd normally fill in any shipping info, since that is not necessary for a digital product. Next is the description. My descriptions differ depending on the product, but I've learned to be as clear as possible about what the customer would be buying to avoid any confusion. You want to accurately describe what you are selling, what the customer will receive, as well as maybe a little bit about why they would want to buy it in the first place. You want to sell it, you want to make it sound good, but at the same time, don't exaggerate. You don't want people coming back disappointed from their purchase to leave you a negative review. Also, since it is a digital item, make sure that you specify very clearly in the description that it is a digital item, as well as exactly what the customer will be getting. If there are any specific downloading, printing, or use instructions, make sure that you add those as well. Next up is the tags. For the tags, don't just add things that are kind of random and relate to your item in any way. Try and think of what people would search for when looking for the item. For my digital cosplay patterns, for example, I use tags like cosplay, costume, pattern, template, and blueprint, as well as any more specific tags, like the fandom the costume piece is from or the character who uses it. Try to think of how a customer might be looking for it, or alternate words they might be using when trying to describe it in the Etsy search bar. You can only add 13 tags, so make sure you use them wisely. Underneath the tag section is a place for materials. Just to drive home the point that this is a digital product, I'll almost always add digital and PDF as the materials, since most of my files are in PDF format. Next up is the inventory and pricing section of the listing, where you will need to add the price for your digital item. Pricing digital items can be a bit tricky, but for me, depending on the complexity of the item and how long it took to make, I'll usually price my PDF patterns and ebooks between $3 and $6, though it can sometimes go higher or lower. Underneath the price section is the amount. I usually set the amount to 10 items just for convenience purposes, so I can see how popular the item is by how fast the number goes down. But since they are all digital products and you don't have an inventory or a limited amount usually, then you can add as many or as few as you want. Finally, at the very bottom of this page is where you can add your digital files. You can add up to 5 files per listing, and they each have to be under 20 megabytes. For my ebooks and large files like that, I have had to compress them in a PDF compressor since they originally were much too large. Though you can also add them in a zipped file as well, which is a lot smaller. To upload a digital file, you'll simply click on the Upload File button and select the file you want to upload. If you have multiple files, you can add those too. If you made a mistake and want to delete the file, then you can just click the trash can icon to get rid of the file you just uploaded. Alright, so after you've gone through all that and you've done all those different things, that is the basics of adding a listing. From there, you just need to save it and you can add any additional listings you want. If you want to start from the same base point, you can also just duplicate the listing and edit the new one to be more specific to whatever new product you want to add. But since this is just an example, I'm just going to be doing the one, and you can always add more listings even after your shop opens. Each new listing you add costs 20 cents as a listing fee, so just make sure you keep that in mind. Once you have all the listings you want for the opening of your shop, you can just click Save and Continue. This next page is all about how you will get paid. You'll add info about yourself, where you live, and how you want to get paid. This is all private info for Etsy. It's not going to be displayed publicly anywhere on your shop or your profile. I'm not going to show you how to do it now since it is kind of more confidential information, and also I think you can probably figure it out by just following the instructions and filling in what the boxes tell you to fill in. The last page is to set up your billing. This is where you'll enter info about how Etsy should take fees from you and also how you will get sent money. So a pretty important page. Don't mess this part up. Again, I'm not going to show you how to do that here, but just fill in the boxes with your info and go slowly and carefully. From there, you can save and then open your shop. You'll need to add things like a shop image and description, maybe a banner, maybe a profile picture, but those things are more aesthetic and I'm not really going to cover them in this video. But again, if you do want a video on all of that, just let me know and I can do my best to make it happen. So at this point, if you've been following along, your shop should be open, you should have some new listings, and you're all ready to go. Congratulations on that. So for this next part of the video, I wanted to go over a couple things that I have learned while running my own digital Etsy shop, as well as a few solutions for them to help you along. First off, this is a common problem that I've had multiple times, where somebody will purchase something from my shop and then later message me through Etsy messages saying that they don't know how to download their file. This does happen a lot and it's super easy. The file that they purchased should be available for download immediately after purchase, and they should have gotten an email about it after they bought it. If they never received an email or they can't seem to find what you're talking about, then this article is a great place to find the information that they're looking for. I will have it linked below so you can look through this and also send it to people who may be confused. If after trying things mentioned in that article or suggested by you, they still aren't able to find or download their digital item, you can always just send it to them through Etsy messages. In case you're worried they're just trying to scam you and they never actually bought anything, you can actually see the order history for every person that messages you through Etsy. I've only ever had to send them the digital item through Etsy messages, I think once, maybe twice. It's not a super common occurrence. Usually going through the things in the article will just solve everything. Something else that I have found to be extremely helpful, especially for digital items, is to be as clear as possible. If there is any part that you think people might possibly get confused about, clarify it in the listing description, because they will get confused about it. If you do not say specifically that the item does not come with something, then people might assume that it does come with it. I have actually gotten a negative review about this same thing once or twice because people thought that a listing came with a couple different items than it actually did, and then they were slightly annoyed about it. But since that point, for every single listing, I have always done my best to be as clear as possible. I will state very clearly what the listing is, as well as, in a lot of cases, what it is not. This has helped me a lot, and it has definitely cut down on the number of people who have been confused, even if it's only been like maybe a couple over the past few months or even a year. Alright, so just to wrap up what we've already talked about, if you've been following along through this video, you should now know why you might want to open a digital product Etsy shop, how to open a digital product Etsy shop, and a few tips and tricks for helping you manage it from there, as well as a few things that I've learned that will maybe help you avoid the same mistakes that I've made. I hope that you found this video helpful, and if you did, that you will like and subscribe to my channel, and maybe let me know in the comments what videos you want to see from me in the future. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all next time.